Yeah, I mean, we thought after Booksmart beat John Wick, maybe we had like a weird, kind of indie vibed fan base. Nah, they're keeping us on our toes.
Or they're so aware of themselves
Yeah.
that they're trying to fight back against that.
They're like, keeping us on our toes. They don't want us to think that we know them.
No.
So good for you guys, because it was like a landslide victory for Men in Black. We in. What up? What's up?
Are you loopy or something?
I'm just sick, bro.
Yeah,
I'm just sick.
but it
Been
seems
sick
like
for like a week.
But it seems like you're like trying to like fight through the sickness, and it's like, like when like
I really want to take a nap right now. Is the thing.
Well, that's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
you know how in like Wolf of Wall Street they say like if you like push through like the Quaalude drug, like you start feeling like super weird and loopy and stuff, right? Because it's supposed to make.
So am I gonna start crawling around like Leo?
Huh?
Am I gonna start like crawling around like Leo?
I mean, sure,
I don't want to do that.
I don't know how severe your cold is.
I don't think it's that bad.
Okay.
Welcome to the Chris and Kyle Show, everybody. We're talking spoilers for our poll winner, Men in Black International. MIBI. Mibby. I don't know why I think that's funny.
It's probably just because you're sick.
Probably.
Yeah. Winner of the poll, right?
Winner of the poll.
Surprisingly enough.
Yeah, I mean, we thought after Booksmart beat John Wick, maybe we had like a weird, kind of indie vibed fan base. Nah, they're keeping us on our toes.
Or they're so aware of themselves
Yeah.
that they're trying to fight back against that.
They're like, keeping us on our toes. They don't want us to think that we know them.
No.
So good for you guys, because it was like a landslide victory for Men in Black. The dead don't die stood no chance. Yeah, I said that right.
You got it, dude.
Nailed it.
We're gonna work our way through this.
Yeah, so Men in Black International, starring Chris Hemsworth and Tessa Thompson, not to be confused with Thor Ragnarok, because it's them. The fourth installment of the Men in Black franchise, right?
Yes.
Fourth. The first without Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. Oh, there is a very cool painting of them in this movie. Very cool painting. I would like that painting. It would be a cool painting to have. Anyway.
Yeah, it would be like cool, like as a poster in your room or something. That would be.
Yeah.
It was nice.
It's neat.
Nice
What do you think of this movie? What do you think of it?
So unlike Thor Ragnarok, I didn't have as much fun. I mean,
there's funny moments.
Tell me, there's funny moments. There's some fun moments, but they're like very sparse, and I was a little bit disappointed. It's very bleh. I was never.
It's a very
bored.
meh movie.
I was never bored.
It's a very average movie to me.
Yeah.
It's very just like exactly. So there's something to be said for when the trailer for this movie dropped and we talked about it on the show, that we both were like, oh, Liam Neeson is obviously the villain of this movie, right?
Exactly.
And that's exactly
That's
if the fact that is so obvious from the trailer, that is a bad thing. That shouldn't happen in your movie.
Right.
But like it was one of those things where it's a very predictable movie and it had very cookie cutter ideas of like, this is how you make something. It almost looked like somebody who was like fresh out of some sort of writing course was like wrote the plot of this. You know what I mean? Every character had they had like stated ideas of who they were and like what their arcs were, and they talked about them, and they were like very one directional and very obvious, and like the arcs were very like, here's the first part, here's the next part, here tie it up, here's the last part, and it was just like very like almost like they were putting blocks together, but it didn't have any like, there's no like passion behind it or anything overly creative behind it.
And it's almost like the idea of this movie was supposed to be so much better than what it actually became. Right?
Yeah,
like,
there's a good skeleton to this movie.
Yeah, and you think like you look at the cast, like you have Kumail Nanjiani and you have Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth, and you're like, oh, this is a great cast for a Men in Black movie, for something that should be really fun, have a lot of action,
and it's like because. I don't think any of the performances are bad.
No, it just
Chris Hemsworth's super charming. Tessa Thompson's really, she's awesome in everything she does. But like, it's just like for some reason,
it's like a lot of this stuff doesn't land.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
I told you before going in, I had reservations about the Kumail alien landing, and I feel like sometimes it did.
Right.
but just never ever nothing. The pieces of the movie didn't seem like they fit together to me.
Yeah.
And like it seemed like there were good ideas around, but they didn't mold together to create a whole experience that was really enjoyable. Mm-hmm. Now I'll say that I think this movie is getting bombed on too hard. It's a 5.6 on IMDb.
Yikes.
That's awful.
Mm-hmm. It's not because it's not. It's like
it's not an awful movie. It's fine.
Not an awful movie. And when I was watching it, I wasn't like. I thought to myself, I was like, "Am I bored? No, I'm not bored."
No.
But I had that thought. It made me question it.
23 from the critics, 65 from the audience on Rotten Tomatoes. I feel like there's this weird I don't know if it's the right word, but like a rubber banding effect in the culture of people who watch movies and talk about movies and rate movies and these sites that do it, where we're in this weird time where if something isn't great, people think it's awful. And there's nothing can exist in just being like decent. This movie is just purely decent. Mm-hmm. It's fine. Mm-hmm. It's not a 5.6. That's terrible.
Right.
That's god awful.
Right. I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. It's meh. You know,
or maybe it's just those weird maybe it's just those weird anti-SJW warriors that go on the internet whenever they see anything that seems like it empowers women and they try to kill it.
Right.
Because there's like a line in the trailer, the whole men and women in black line. I could see those types of people being like, gotta kill this one. Go just fucking build bots to give it horrible ratings.
Right.
It could be that.
So we already talked about the trailers, like, and how it like spoiled our experience. We already knew what the story was. Mm-hmm. A lot of I
liked the little twist though. I thought the twist was clever, and it took I realized it like just before it was revealed, like specifically what happened. The whole he got neuralized. I liked that little twist. That was cool.
Well, I figured
I knew something was up with him. I thought my big thing was like, dude, are they going to do a super twist and make Chris Hemsworth the villain? Because that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I thought at first.
I was like, that could happen. Like, I enjoyed a little bit of the differences between Rafe Spall and Liam Neeson, but I for the most part assumed that Liam Neeson was going to be the bad guy. Yeah. And I assumed that Liam Neeson...
Spall C?
Yeah.
Okay.
Liam Neeson, so I knew that he had neuralized Chris Hemsworth when we saw the painting, and underneath it said "armed with our wits" and our series.
Oh, you realized it just then?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's the exact same wording. Like,
yeah, I didn't catch it till later.
Yeah, that's like
same thing he says whenever he tells the story.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah,
exactly.
Our things, I forget what they're called. Wits and our things.
The wits in our Series 7 deanalyzers.
Something like that.
Yeah. Now, going back to the trailers, right? Like, did you feel like there were any funny moments? I think there was one funny moment.
That wasn't in the trailer?
Movie that was not in the trailer.
I think there's probably a couple times, there's a couple Kumail lines, maybe, that they didn't include in the trailers that were funny.
I would say two. There's two funny moments. The first one.
Yeah.
Is the one when he's getting out of the glass jar and he literally carves.
Yeah, that was really funny.
That was a funny scene.
Yeah,
it was super visual.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's.
It's ridiculous. It's a ludicrous idea.
But that's like Men in Black. Men in Black's very ludicrous.
Yeah.
So it fit well. Another one. So if there was, what do you think? I think we should both say what our favorite scene in the movie was on 3.
Oh, geez. I don't know mine.
I know mine right.
Just say it. I don't know mine.
The scene in the desert
when they blew up the ground.
Not when they blew up the ground. Right after it. When it was
when they were fixing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a really good scene.
And it was quiet.
Yep.
And that was. I was like, that's the only time that there was banter between all of the characters, and I bought it. And it was kind of funny and humorous. And it was when they're communicating through Kumail Pani. Well, that entire nighttime scene in the desert when they're both working on the bike and they're talking about love and shit. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that was a great scene.
Yeah,
that was a great scene. And I wanted more of that.
Mm-hmm. They definitely. I mentioned to you when we got out if you thought it was short. I thought it was really short, which I don't know what the runtime is. I can find it, but I think it might have been partially that. It might have been the fact that there was almost no moments where you just sort of pulled back and had quiet moments with the characters. That might be why I felt that way.
Yeah.
It was an hour 54. It wasn't short.
No.
So yeah, it was just because something was always happening
Right.
in terms of like moving things forward. But yeah, you're right. They put pretty much all of the jokes in the trailer.
I'll ask you this because you're an objective party.
Am I?
How how did you feel about their use of Les Twins as like the?
I wanted them to do more with them.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, because you told me like how they were really cool dancers and they did like a little bit.
Yeah.
They had like one dance scene.
I was
and
like,
then like the way they
how are
moved
they
was
going
interesting.
To shoehorn their incredible dancing into this movie because it's going to happen at one point.
Yeah, if you're gonna cast them, you have to do it. Don't
Right.
cast them if you're not doing it.
Yeah.
But I wanted like to see more. I wanted
They're
to be
also,
incorporated in their fighting style. That was one thing. Like they were kind of boring. Like in terms of their the effects of what they did.
Right.
It was like they just kind of like touched things.
Like Les Twin, like I found the idea so appealing of Les Twin. And for those that don't know, Les Twins is two French black dudes that are both incredible dancers. And they're like my favorite dancers. But the idea of them playing like a villain, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, sign me up.
Yeah,
right?
it's cool.
And and there are guys who are so physically like they're incredibly athletic, incredibly flexible, and just amazing dancers. So obviously, like I think that they could very easily slide into like really good fight choreography.
That's what I wanted.
Right?
Like they didn't do anything involved. Like they could have done such a cool
They did a
fight
little
scene.
bit. They did a little bit. So like that scene on the street when they were like pulling the guns out of the cars when Tessa Thompson and Chris.
Yeah, but they never
Hemsworth
like
doing that.
fought. They were just kind of like
they were like doing like
they just
fusion
moved,
hawk.
They just moved weird.
They did like one of their moves is like when they both like sort of like lean down on each other so that like they're both kind of like doing the Matrix thing, but like they're holding each other up. They both did that. They did that move like while they were in this gunfight with them, and then they like fucking like disapparated. Like
their powers were weird and kind of random.
But like yeah, there was only like one real scene where like they were dancing.
There's a
But,
literal
like,
dancing
If they were
scene.
in like a John Wick movie, right? You would think that they would be utilized.
Oh,
in,
it
like,
would be
some
sick.
incredible
It would be
way,
sick.
right?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking, like specifically. Like, why wasn't there a scene where like they were in a fist fight with Chris Hemsworth and they were dancing as part of the choreography for the fight? That would be so cool.
Yeah.
So cool. Yeah, they didn't really do it.
Yeah.
And even like the one scene where they were actually dancing, only one of them was dancing.
True.
The other guy was just kind of standing behind him pacing.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Although outside of like the misuse of their like physical talents and their dancing talents and shit like that, I do think that they just look cool.
Yeah,
as
they
villains.
look cool.
They look
yeah.
fucking badass.
They have a good look. Their costumes were very cool.
Yeah.
They've got cool hair. Yeah, and they just were like put on a grimace, and they were like, all right, I got a grimace.
Yeah.
There they go.
Which is also super interesting because they're like crazy nice.
Yeah, that's cool. I like nice people that are good at dancing. Go Les Twins. How do you say Les Twins with a French accent?
Les
like,
Twins?
Twin?
I have no
Les
idea.
Twins? Is twins?
I'm spitballing.
How do they say
Les
twins
Twins.
in French?
Les Twins? Les Twins? Les Twins?
Is twins? Is that French? Or is there a different word for twin in French?
I'm just spitballing.
Oh, okay, cool.
I have no idea.
Nice. Yeah. I'm trying to think like.
Well, you know one thing that kind of bothered me?
Tell me.
Okay. Did M get any training?
They jumped her training. There was a scene where they said
There was like a montage.
they showed her grades from her training.
They showed.
Hi O. Oh, I think her name was right. She's the British woman
Annette
who's
Bening?
in charge of the American Men in Black.
It's not Annette Bening, right? Emma something. Emma
Is
Thompson.
it Emma Thompson? Yes, Emma Thompson.
I always get them confused.
Yes, Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson's character is looking at grades, and it was like first week or first month of training or something, and she had like she was in like the 95th plus percentile and everything, and she was already established as someone who was good enough to be in the FBI or the CIA.
Okay.
So they kind of like
So
they
they never-
implied that she trained her whole life to be ready for this.
Okay. I'll buy that.
Yep. Because were you thinking of like the Mary Sue thing?
It hit me, but I was like, what am I missing here? Because like I saw the grades and stuff like that, but I figured that it was only from her FBI training. But like I assumed that
No,
like,
it said,
if you
like-
were just a FBI, If you were just training for the FBI, there's going to be a fucking completely different kind of training that you're going to need to be in the Men in Black. And plus, they just didn't, because they had a montage, right? But the montage was mostly just like her getting dressed.
It was literally her getting dressed.
Which
cool
the music
outfit.
for that
was
montage
cool.
was fucking
it
dope.
was cool.
It was it was nice. But it made me think. I was like, wait, so did she actually receive any training? Because they didn't really show it.
Yeah.
Right.
She just went on the ride at Universal, and then they were like, if she hits the red button, we know she's in.
I'm always bad at those kind of rides.
I'm
where you have
awful.
to shoot shit.
I'm awful at that ride and now I'll never be able to go on this ride with you. But I know to hit the red button, and I know when to hit it, and you get a fuck ton of points for it. So like I'm usually like by the end I'm not terrible, and I might win. Okay. But in terms of the shooting part, awful, completely awful.
Yeah.
That ride, the Buzz Lightyear ride at Disney,
same thing.
So bad.
Same thing.
So bad. Isn't there another? No. Is there a Harry Potter ride like that? No, there's not. There's a ride where you're in a thing where you can like see things in your cart with you. That's what I was thinking of. The ride in the castle. There's a part where like you go down.
Oh, Haunted Mansion?
Well, no. It's like that.
Do that.
It's like that though. It's like Haunted Mansion. Yeah. I want to go back, dude, to Florida Universal because they just opened the Hagrid ride.
What's that? Is there a bunch of creatures and stuff?
They changed where what was once called Dueling Dragons and then Dragon Challenge. They tore it all down. They built the Forbidden Forest and they put a ride in there. It's called like Hagrid's something or another. I really want to go.
In the books, it was called the Black Forest or something, or the Dark Forest. It was called something different in the movies.
The Forbidden Forest.
It was called the same thing in the movies and in the. Are you sure? You would know. Maybe I just dreamt about that or something.
That's a random ass dream.
I dreamt about people complaining about that.
That's a weird dream. No, it's the Forbidden Forest. Maybe somebody calls it like offhanded something different, but in the movies. But it's the Forbidden Forest because you're forbidden from going in.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes
man.
Sense.
Anyway, Men in Black.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about Men in Black, dude.
It's just like a really man movie.
Yeah, meh.
It's a movie.
Sounded like you said man movie, but you said meh.
No, meh.
Yeah.
Really man movie. It's a movie, and you see it, and you're like, I just saw a movie. We went and saw it yesterday, and I came home, and then I watched Ralph Breaks the Internet.
That's the second one, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the second one.
I hadn't seen it yet, so I watched it.
Damn.
It was good. I liked it a lot. I liked it more than Men in Black.
Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Are they going to make any more Tessa Thompson-led Men in Black movies? She's going back to Brooklyn, right?
I don't know how much money this one made, so I don't know. But again, I never would have guessed. Like, I don't think that Men in Black 3 was so successful that they could have made a Men in Black 4. You know what I mean? So I don't know. The way this ends is kind of weird because it's like, are they going to give her a new partner? Or are they going to try to find some weird way where Chris Hemsworth is like in charge of the British division, but he's like, oh man, I got to get back out on the field. And I don't know.
Did you find this scene where like fucking Chris Hemsworth's like intro scene pretty much, like after this one in Paris, but like the one where he's like playing poker, right? And then he's like dying and he's like asking for the antidote and he's like, I'll give you
anything you want.
And then like she's like, oh really, anything? And then she fucks him.
Yeah.
Like I was
it's because he's
just like,
let me explain it to you.
Okay.
It's because he's so hot.
He's so like
that
I
any
just thought
alien
that was so whack.
Would want to have sex with him.
I thought that was going to like lead. I thought it was going to be deeper than that. You know what I mean? I thought he was going to, but it was like just kind of like a weak cold open. The fact that he like fucks this girl to stay alive, I guess.
But it's funny because she has suckers on her arm.
But like how,
like an octopus.
But like how awful of a person does she have to be?
She seemed like she's probably an awful person.
Maybe the guy that she's with is just an awful person.
I think everyone in that room was an awful person.
Other than Chris Hemsworth.
I mean, even a little bit him. He kind of sucks. But in the end, he's not, you know. It's because his brain got scrambled.
Did he do anything that was bad?
No, he's just kind of incompetent and goobery. He likes to
What were
party.
they
He likes to
going
party.
What do you think they were going after really with his character? Because I feel like it was like kind of all over the place, right? Like I felt
Well,
like
yeah, because they were like, you were like a leader, and you're like, wait, what? He is? What?
well, and like they just kept. I feel like they were like trying to go after like a Maverick kind of thing, you know, like he's like kind of like a loose cannon.
But they didn't really lean into it.
But he just
hard.
like didn't give a shit enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Maverick, at least like you know that he had something that he was looking forward to, right? Like there was something.
So I think
of value that he was
I think
pursuing.
part of it connects back to the idea.
He just didn't give a shit about the rules along the way.
Part of it connects to the idea that he wasn't himself ever since his brain got scrambled. He got neuralized.
Mm-hmm.
But they did like a weird job of executing that through his actions throughout the movie, and it just made him like helter skelter, and rather than like seem like he had an actual like attitude problem or something. It was just like he just kind of did whatever the movie needed him to do in the moment to move the plot forward, which isn't very fun. I think it'd be cooler if he was more like a Maverick type.
Is it kind of like? It's kind of whack that like it took him that long to figure out that he got neuralized, right? Like he was having so he spent this is 2 years after his original fucking armed with his wits and goes up to the Eiffel Tower and he fights off the what's it called, the Hive?
Yeah.
Right? For over 2 years, right? He gets a fucking painting made. The painting says like the exact same caption as like what everything that he's and like you know that like everybody at his work.
The painting was Liam Neeson's.
It was Liam Neeson's, but he's in Liam Neeson's office all the time.
But it seems
right?
like it's a thing, right? Because there's also one of Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, and it had a quote too, I think.
No, but he never like. When you're in a situation like that, right? Like, and he saved the entire world from the Hive. You know that he had fucking multiple conversations with all of his coworkers. Bro. Tell me the story.
And he would just say that one line.
Gives that one line for an entirety of 2 years. And like nobody's ever like, yeah, but like what else happened? Can you
maybe they're like he can't talk about it. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, dude.
That's kind of whack.
It's weak.
It's kind of whack.
It's weak. Yeah. You know what's probably going to be better than this?
Lion King?
Well, yes, but I was going to say what we talk about next week.
What are we doing next week?
Toy Story 4.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
Battle of the Fours. Men in Black.
Oh yeah. Battle of the Fours. One of the if you have a trilogy, what's 4? Quadrilogy?
2 is duology. 3
Duology.
is trilogy. 4 is forestry.
Nope. A foragey. That sounds like something else. One is obviously better than the other.
I would hope so.
Toy Story is way better.
I would hope so.
Toy Story is way better forology than Men in Black. So yeah, come back next week for Toy Story 4. I probably will not be sick anymore. And therefore, it's just as weird, but not as sick. Find chrismichaelstott.com. Check out his scripts. Chris Michael Stott on Instagram. Find me, DavinWell25, on Twitter and Instagram. Find the show, The Chris and Kyle Show, on YouTube, on all podcasting platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, tcaks pod on Twitter. We'll put a new poll up next week. We don't know what it is yet. We have an idea for what maybe it might be. But that was kind of a joke. I don't know if I'm serious about that.
I'm kind of okay with that
But
poll.
it would be kind of fun. I want to see what else is coming out is the problem.
Okay.
So we'll put a new poll out next week, and we'll let y'all know what's on it. Until then, we out.
We out. Stay weird.